Huh?
Get my breakfast off the table.
Yo, yo.
We on?
Appreciate everybody showing up, tapping in. We know we're a little late right now, but we're going to be real brief. Not too brief, maybe not too brief, you know. It depends on the vibe. It depends on the vibe. But today we're doing something. I know everybody used to us having a guest on, and we're going to still have our guests. But today I want to start incorporating more of us. So even though our two cohorts, Keelan and Darnell, wasn't able to be with us today, shout out to Keelan and Darnell. I wanted us to really start not focus on, but just infuse more of our perspectives and our issues or our topics or our concerns, put them on the table and be able to talk about them amongst ourselves with the viewing audience and things like that, right? And that lets people get to know us a little bit more. So, because people always asking. Yeah. They always asking, like, with such and such, like, with B, like, with, you know, they always talking about Darnell, because he don't say much.
Mystery, man.
He the mystery, you know what I'm saying? I got somebody calling my silent bodyguard, right? Like, because every time you see me, you see him, but he ain't never talking. So this is just another way. Even though he started breaking out of his shell, this is another way for me to, you know.
Right. I definitely feel like I done got more comfortable in here, though.
That's cool,
like,
man.
Like, me and myself, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when we first started doing it, it was like it wasn't that I was being false or unauthentic, but
you was filling it out.
Yeah, now I just can sit on here and talk with my dog. You know what I'm saying?
Then let me ask you this, though. Do you think it's because of the environment has changed, or you think you just gotten more comfortable with?
Man, I think it's a couple different things. Definitely the environment, I think it does play a role. Secondly, I just, like, over the last 6 months to a year, I feel like I see life in a different perspective.
Okay.
Like the light is shine. Like the light bulb is going off.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm feeling.
Okay. What do that look like for you, though? And this ain't about to be
no, it's cool.
an interview on you. But now look, Darnell want to try to call me right now. Dog, I called you already. It's too late, homie. I should have put him on speakerphone. I sure should have put him. I didn't even think about it. I sure should have put him on speakerphone. But what that light look like when it going off?
That light, man, it's just it's clarity, man. It's been very introspective. You know, taking time to really get to know who I am and knowing your influence, the impact that you can have, and recognizing your purpose in a sense. And you can only be what you truly are supposed to when you really start operating as yourself. And for me, I guess that's what it's been. You know, just really seeing that the more I am myself, the more attractive. You know, we talk like the laws of attraction, right? It seems like more comes. You know what I mean? It just keeps happening like that. And after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
Because it's going to keep showing up for you.
Yeah.
It's going to keep showing up. I learned that too. The universe going to keep, if it's meant for you to do it, or the universe going to keep showing up, giving you that sign. A little louder, a little louder, a little louder. You know what I'm saying? Until you get it. Hopefully you get it. Right. It ain't going to force you to get it.
It ain't going to keep knocking.
It's going, you know what I'm saying? So, but you said something that's interesting. You said, it was on what you just said about showing up who you are.
Yeah, being your authentic self, man.
And what does that look like for you? Because that's actually going to lead into the topic that I want to vibe on for a little bit.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you as a man, and if it's a difference as a black man?
As a black man. So, first off, I'll say I spend a lot more time trying to understand the other person's perspective besides my own, because I feel like I'm grounded in mine. I know what I stand for. I know who I am. So, a lot of the time, I'm trying to understand the person I'm dealing with. So, I'm not even all the time trying to prove my point or make them understand my point. A lot of the time, I'm really just trying to dissect you and get your understanding of life so that I can use it, or if it gets to the point, I can challenge it so we can both grow. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the whole point of interacting with someone. You know, take every person and every day that you have as a learning experience. You feel what I mean? So I'm not disregarding anybody. I don't care if you're a bum on the corner at the bus station. If you just so happen to be there and we sitting there having a conversation, I'm going to take that just as serious as I do a doctor that's working at John Hopkins Medical Center or something. You know what I mean? I just think it's a time and place that you're supposed to talk with people. And it happens that way for you to do it. You got to take advantage of it, or you miss opportunities.
I like that. Yeah. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
On
black man, though, huh? Black man.
But look, right. So look, because I feel like, and maybe this is just me, and this is on my own personal journey, and my own personal attempt at self-growth. But I feel like, I almost feel like I'm always on the defense, right? I always feel, in my personal life and just in society, I always feel like I'm on the defense. I always have to have my guard up,
Right.
be careful what I say, because me personally, I'm in a constant, I feel constantly attacked,
Right.
whether it be directly or indirectly, whether it be overtly, or what's the other one? What's the other one? Overtly.
I'm not a wordsmith.
Directly or indirectly.
There you go.
Right?
That's the perfect way to say it.
And so, and feeling like that, like I said, I don't like walking around with my vest on all the time, when I proverbial vest on all the time, trying to protect myself. But to be feeling like I got to do that, and then when I look at society, and this is one of the reasons why, I picked the topic, Black manhood from our perspectives, because I've been having this conversation for the last few weeks, right, with different people. And when I look at society right now, it's like we fighting for a space to be valued and acknowledged in a positive way.
I think we just got to demonstrate our value, though. That's my thing. It's like, it's a certain confidence that I think we need to move with. So we don't have to be defensive, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are coming to us for answers. You know, actually the founder of the school, he just said one thing, man, being black is profitable right now. And it's terrible. I'm not terrible. It's crazy to think about it like that, but it is. You know what I mean? You can go in anywhere and tell them how the biggest thing you look at, like workforce and stuff, it's all about like the underrepresented, the untapped, or, how do we reach these ones? And there's monies and millions of dollars that are going out there to figure that out, which means they're coming to us to find those answers, though. You know what I mean? So I don't think that, even me watching you, you don't got to be defensive. You know what I mean? Operate the way Shimmy knows how to, though. You know what I mean? You know exactly what you know how you think. You know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. As long as you're moving on that path, why bite your tongue? You know what I'm saying? Why hold back? You know how to speak. You know the environments you're in. You know what words or how you should be carrying yourself based on where you are. Then attack it like that and move confidently while you do it. You follow what I'm saying?
I follow you. I think. Excuse me, look, I don't got a cold or nothing. I got bad sinus. I'm just putting that out there. So look, y'all hear me clearing my throat, man. It's crazy. But, I'm going to try to see more stuff and see how that worked for me. But I hear what you're saying, and I respect it, and I receive that, right? And I'm going to wholeheartedly try to apply that. And things that happened recently, over the last few days has revealed to me that I have to be mindful of the position I am in as leader, or quote unquote leader. I'm not saying I'm a leader, but people look at me as such.
There you are.
And as a result of that, how the things that I say are being received. So I can't just get mad and just because it's going to be received different because of the position that I'm in and how I'm looked at, right? So I'm trying to be more mindful of that. But if I'm being honest and transparent, I still got a lot of residual prison stuff that I'm still working through. And in there, it's about survival. It's about, all it is aggression. You can't show anything but aggression, regardless. I ain't going to say regardless, because after you get a certain age, it's kind of like, dudes just kind of leave you alone. They're like, but for the most part, it's always about either proving yourself or being ready to prove yourself because we're in an environment where we ain't really thinking the norm isn't the norm, let me say that, right? And so now being home, even though I've been home 3 years, I still have 20-something years of reprogramming that I have to do when I'm moving and engaging with people, right?
How does that look for you, though? So what have you done to reprogram or rewire your mentality? Has it been successful? And maybe call out an experience where you had to, that side may have come out and you had to kind of rethink how to handle that situation.
Well, it is becoming successful. I'm not going to say it has become successful because it's still moments where my initial response is aggression. Not necessarily aggression in a physical sense,
Right.
But aggression, I'm going to get my point across no matter what. You're going to understand what I'm saying no matter what.
Right.
And I've been told on numerous occasions, sometimes, you know, I got to be told something 3 or 4 times before it kind of sink in. But I've been told that because of my size and stature, my tone resonates different than if it was a normal dude, whatever normal is, right? And at first, I just brush it. But when it starts coming from people that you love, because it's easy to brush it when it's something like, you know, and they just hate me, because I get a lot of that. But then when it comes from people that you love and that you've embraced and that you know genuinely care about you and want to see you succeed,
Right.
it forces you to kind of look at that and take accountability for your part in whatever it is, right? But it's been, so I can give you a perfect one. This was a few months ago. Young brother who I actually knew. You know, there was liquor involved and all those things. Young brother who I actually knew felt some type of way about a conversation that he overheard me having. And
That he wasn't
a part of.
Oh, okay. So that's, okay, I'm with you.
That he wasn't a part of. But he interpreted it wrong. But as a result of how he interpreted it, he came to me crazy. And like I said, we had a relationship.
Right.
And I think as a result of the relationship, I was able to move different with him, but he wound up pulling the pistol out on me. But I wasn't scared of the pistol. I'd have been shot. I wasn't tripping off that, right? But in that moment, I'm like, I can't respond the way I would respond. For numerous reasons. One, I know this little brother. 2, I'm not that person no more.
Right.
And 3, I don't want to get shot, right? You know what I'm saying? But I had to check myself. I had to check the way I approached this situation and handled this situation. Another instance was, and it wound up turning out good.
Yeah, so before you go to the next point, because I think it's a great point to be made. A lot of the time, you know, as black men, we do move with aggression and anger. And I think when you move with aggression and anger, you lose clarity. Like, your decision-making skills go awry. You know what I'm saying? You become irrational. You know, those times and those moments where we can do exactly what you did, take the time to see the whole moment, kind of think it all through, and then you make the best decision. How often are you able to do that when you're irrational or upset?
It's so funny you say that, because someone that I love, that I hold dear to me, told me today, just today, if I'm being aggressive or if I'm yelling, they're more worried about what I might do than worried about the message that I'm trying to give.
Right.
So breathe, calm down, and for the most part, I do that. Like I said, I've come a long way, but I do acknowledge and recognize that I still have ways to go. And the position that I'm in, although I didn't necessarily seek this position, I just sought to do the work. I have to always be aware of that. Right. And a brother told me before, and it stuck with me, but I just got to remember, I got to recall it more often. Don't let your talents take you somewhere that your character can't keep you. Right? And so I wouldn't say in my circumstance my talent, but my ability to just be willing to do the work has taken me places that I got to make sure my character is able to keep me. And so I'm trying to be cognizant of that as I move. I'm human, you know. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. Right. My goal is to minimize the damage of those mistakes and the effects of that, right? So I'm definitely receiving all of that. I'm definitely receiving all that, especially from, like I say, the people that I care about, like you, people that I care about, who I know want to see me win.
Right.
But when I look at society, and this is why
on a grander scale now.
On a grander scale, this is why I almost feel defensive. Is because when I look at society, it's like, and maybe it's just stuff I'm looking at. I might have to change the stuff I'm looking at, right? But I feel like we constantly under attack, whether it be from white men, white women, black women, you know, on every, and you know, let me just say this: me personally, I don't necessarily have a problem with the gay community. They do what they do. That's on them. I do what I do. Boom. But on every aspect. Like a perfect example, and I've been using this. A perfect example is, so I was watching this show on Netflix, and it's called Sex, Love, and Goop, right? And it's about they say you got 5 sexual languages, like you got the 5 love languages.
I remember this conversation.
Okay, so you remember this conversation, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see what my sexual blueprint is, right? Now on the show, you had a black man and his wife, you had an elderly white couple, you had a young white couple, and then you had a white lesbian couple. But when I went to the website, the first thing I said was, first thing I seen was 2 black men laying in bed together, right? I'm like, then you look on P-Valley, you look on all these popular shows right now, like it's hard to find a black man that represents people like us. And so I look at that, then I look at just how the police treat us. You know what I'm saying? I look like just on every scale, and I'm like, man, we really fighting for our space in our society right now. Now, I like the point you made as far as just walking in your purpose and walking in your confidence, but on a grander scale, it's like almost like it's going to be it's constantly an uphill battle. Well, we know that. We born knowing that. We got to run faster, jumps higher, all of that stuff. Right. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm more observant, of more aware of certain things and how they affect us.
I agree with you on a lot of those levels. You know what I mean? We've always been under attack, you know, as black men. But what I've noticed, and I guess it's where my mind is going, I'm seeing more people become aware. You know what I mean? I think the turmoil that we faced over the last few years, you know, between police brutality, between lives lost due to COVID, and even the uptick of violence in our neighborhoods, though. You know, I believe that it has brought a certain awareness amongst a group of black men that are willing to do the work. And I'm starting to see more people come together to try to do something about what's happening.
Yeah, I agree with you.
On. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's been like almost motivating for me to do the same. You know what I'm saying? To really start putting the work in.
Yeah.
Boots to the pavement, though. You know what
I
I'm
like
saying?
that.
That's the only way that we're gonna really ever get to a point where we're not in that place.
Do you ever honestly think we will get to that point?
It's gonna, as black men, I think we'll always be seen as a threat. You know, as long as we're seen as a threat to some people, but not to all people. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, so we're always gonna have to fight some battles.
Right.
But a lot of the time, we think it's just us as black men. You know what I mean? We can probably bring a lot of races to this table, and they're probably gonna have some things that they're fighting as well. You know what I mean? You know, between Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, man, let's talk about people, the Middle Easterns. I can't even imagine the stuff they go through right now. If you're a Middle Eastern man living in the States and you wear your turban every day and you wear your traditional garments, do you realize what goes on when they walk into a store?
Right.
Or when they walk through an airport? I remember I used to be a 911 dispatcher at the Ronald Reagan Airport.
Oh,
right?
yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, fun fact right here.
I didn't know
that. Fact.
So I was a 911 dispatcher, but it tripped me out, man, because anytime I would get on the line with an officer, he was pulling somebody over, if that person had the last name Muhammad, there was a certain database that we had to run their names through just to see if they fit any description of possible terrorists. Stuff. Wow. So anytime you're getting pulled over and your last name was Muhammad, there was a whole other protocol that was in place for you. And I get why they do it, but at the same time, just like with us driving while black, you feel what I'm saying? You getting stopped because you got an air freshener tree.
Or like T.O. I don't know if you've seen that video I posted on T.O. T.O. on his way to his mailbox in his cul-de-sac. And the lady called the police on him because she said he was driving too fast. And then when the police showed up, she started crying and said, she literally said this, "You're a big black man. I'm a white woman. You can't do that."
Where he lives.
Right. Yeah, you're right. We could bring other nationalities, other races to the table, and they'll have their own experiences. I think because it's so long standing with us,
right?
And we don't have a lot of the remedies that other resources that other nationalities or races do. I think it hits us hard, and it definitely hits us harder because just economically speaking, it hits them.
Because we're not
because even not to cut you, even if like those the Middle Eastern or Arab brothers and sisters that come over here, right, or in this country, 9 times out of 10, when they come, they're coming and being put in a position to succeed. So although they suffer those things, and they shouldn't suffer those things, it's not compounded with the fact that they go into a low income neighborhood where, you know what I'm saying, they subject to every day being like this.
Right.
If I'm making sense,
No, you make complete sense. 100%.
So that's why I think there's a little difference, but like you say, all of us got our trials and tribulations that we have to overcome in this country. But like I said, this was just a pet peeve. This was just a thing on my chest, man.
I'm with you completely, because it does become frustrating, though, man. I mean, it's not like what you're saying doesn't hold validity.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's true. You know, we deal with a lot. You know, you watch this. You know, you watch hip hop and the messages and things that are pushed to our young people. You know what I mean? You think about our school systems. Like there are a lot. You think about voting rights. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that is set in place for us to not go to the places we need to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
To not succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we can split hairs on the definition of succeed, but if we bind into the American dream of what success is, it ain't set up for us to have.
It's no harder over here.
It ain't set up for us, and that's not making no excuse. That's just saying this is the playing field, calling the playing field what it is, and then figuring out how we got to navigate it. But I like what you said, that a lot of brothers are starting to see that no one of us can do it by ourselves. We got to start working with each other, trusting each other, which is, I think, the biggest hurdle we have as a culture, but definitely amongst men, is trusting each other that you really gonna have my back when we go in these trenches.
That's right.
I always use it in street terms, man. I need to know that your trigger finger ain't gonna get stuck. Right. When we in this war,
and it's bigger than just a weapon.
And it's bigger than just a weapon, no doubt. I'm glad you say that. But it just, for sure, absolutely. Thanks for the translation. I appreciate that, because I ain't talking about literally, but I'm talking about when you going into battle, whether it's basketball, football. We 49er die hard. I need to know, man, that when we in the trenches, when we in that
or when we go
and somebody trying to gouge my eye,
or when we go in one of them conference rooms and we sit there trying to solidify a deal. You know what I'm saying? Or we going in trying to make a move, and we going to whatever it is that we're trying to do. We got to make sure that we're equipped, and that you going in and you speaking with something that stands with some substance.
Absolutely.
You follow what I'm saying? Like, that's the most important thing. That's what I say. That's what I'm starting to see. Like, I'm starting to see more people figure it out and realize they have to equip themselves with knowledge in order for us to make the gains that we want. Nothing's going to be given to us.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And we've done it for so long. We've allowed things to be given to us to the point where we've almost been okay with someone doing it for us. Like, no, we got to remove that ideal. Yeah. That's gone. That's out the window. Like, we're at a place of creating.
I feel like this, to piggyback back on what you said, and, in a lot of ways, I believe that integration hurt us. Because it made us lazy.
It did, in a sense.
And I don't want to say weak, but it made us lazy, because instead of us creating it or figuring out how to create it, we just going, they'll do it and we just go buy it from them or use theirs.
Right.
When we have the tools and stuff.
We had whole towns and stuff that we had to take care of on our own. We had schools that we had to take care of on our own. Yeah, I'm with you.
And out of necessity, we bred these beautiful things. Yeah. Now, it's like, I just go down the street and I'm guilty of it a lot of times. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm guilty of it a lot of times, just in a minuscule matter. But I think, just being equally on the same playing field as everyone else is what I would rather see.
I'm with you. You ever see the people, and they do like that? It's almost like I guess we can call it an iceberg for the sake of the conversation, where they'll have everybody line up on a line. And it's a mix of races now. And they'll ask questions like, your father went to college. Or, if your father went to college, take a step forward. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If your mom made over $50,000 a year, take a step forward. So at the end of it, you'll see that the majority of the people at the starting line are black.
They do that in football. Coaches do that for football to try to get the players to understand certain things. Right? I've seen demonstrations of that. And the first time I seen it, I'm like, that's dope. Without it put a lot of things in perspective
for both parties.
For both parties. Absolutely, man.
You ever watch that documentary, The 13th by Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
That's a solid one to watch.
That's it is.
That's a good one to watch, man. If anybody out there hasn't taken the time to watch that one, man,
I might need to watch it again because I can only
man.
remember a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's real good, man. They break it all the way down, They take it all the way back to the beginning. You know how pretty much even after slavery, it was just another way. Prison became another way to enslave.
They called it. The sister Michelle Alexander called it. It's called. But it's I can't. Right, I was looking for you to give it to me. But it's in her book, The New Jim Crow. Right,
okay.
Because prior to slavery, it wasn't no prison systems. It wasn't none of that.
Yeah,
prison was created after slavery to be used as a means to keep us enslaved. So they freed us, but then they locked us up for a violation that we didn't know. Minuscule things, and then sold us back to plantation owners. And then indentured servitude. Indentured servitude. So they sell us back to the plantation owner and make us quote unquote.
What's the name of the book?
The New Jim Crow. Awesome book. I'm surprised you. Awesome book. Awesome book. You'll love the book. And she breaks down all of that, like the whole prison industrial system, everything. But how they sold us back to the plantation owners, and we supposedly was supposed to be able to work our way off, but we could never work off the debts. So that means we were still back in slavery.
That school to prison pipeline is a real thing. The crazy part is a guy that works here at Dixon. He was talking, because he said he worked at the juvenile junior, the middle school. Then he worked at actual JJC, and then he worked at DYS, which is like the real prison for people that are juveniles. Right. So he just explained and broke down how he's seen each of those guys come through each part of it. None of them ever, I won't say none, the majority of them stayed right within that system. You know what I'm saying? Nothing ever changed. There was no rehabilitation. Only thing that happened when they went to the next place, they became better at doing the wrong things.
Right.
And when they got to the top, when they got to DYS, they were really.
They was full-fledged.
Yep. So now now when they get back to the streets, and they're feeling on top of the world.
They have, you ever heard of this? It's called the four-wall theory.
Four-wall theory?
Four-wall theory.
Break it down.
So the four-wall theory is the theory that you are born, you will die in the same socioeconomic class you was born in. And it's a list of reasons why that will happen, right? And they break it down into 4 different things. Entertainment, consumption, sexual reproduction, and something else. I can't remember because it's been so long, but I got it wrote down somewhere. But it's the theory that because we use things, we misuse things, right, or overindulge in things. Like one of the examples that I always can remember because it's been so long is when they talk about reproduction. So they say, like, we supposed to have sex, but technically we're supposed to have sex to reproduce. Right. If we're using it in the proper way. But if you misuse it, then you have things like I'm gonna be careful of my language, but it's like when you hear the phrase, we like to F and fight. The makeup sex is the best sex after a big fight, okay, and all those things, right? Or you hear and we hear it in the hood all the time, like putting the TM on her neck while you do all just we denigrate the sex so much, physically and mentally, that we misuse it for what it's supposed to be used for. So an example would be, and people who in these think tanks that sell stuff to us and all those things, they understand this. So they put a woman, and I'll never forget this example. They put a woman in a bathing suit on top of a car with a hamburger. And they selling the car. You don't need a car though.
Right.
But guess what you do? You about to go find a way to buy this car
so you can get that woman with the
burger. That woman with the burger, right? And it's things like that, though, that keep us stuck in the same socioeconomic brackets that we born in, and we can't never move outside of them.
Right.
And then it's a whole other thing with it, too, right? It's deep, but that's just an example of it. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. A lot of the work, I say this, we've come a long way. I always say we've come a long way.
We got a long fight to go.
We got a long fight to go.
Without a doubt.
We got a long fight to go.
But after a while, we're starting to see it now. So always look at it like, we both sports guys, though. I like football a lot, man. So you start seeing there's really like the quarterback position, right? The quarterback position is traditionally a white guy, right? Then you start seeing blacks come and get involved, starting to take on those roles, and that was a fight. But now it's like you see a lot of guys that are mixed, both black and white that are doing real well with sports. And I think that was the worry. A lot of people say that was the worry because obviously, the black trait is a dominant one. So they always say, black man, white woman, black baby. White man, black woman, black baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that fear is what a lot of people point at.
Right.
That we could almost wipe out not completely, but you can,
right.
You lose that purity. And
I'm gonna tell you something.
That's there.
I was one of my bunkies, one of my roommates in prison was a dude who was an Aryan Nation.
Okay.
Right.
That's crazy.
But I'm gonna tell you something. The respect between us was probably more respect than I had probably in any cellmate that I had almost my whole 26 years. Right. But he admitted that. He said we go hard the way we go because we fear extinction. Because if we mix with anybody else, we gonna lose who we are.
Right. And
I'm like, well, damn, I can't knock you for that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And the crazy part is bigger than color too, though. I mean, because I just heard a story yesterday about a young lady who traditionally she's West African, and her father completely cut her off because she was talking to an African American because he felt like that was going to dilute their bloodline. You know what I mean? So it's not always about color.
Right,
you know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? Sometimes it's just about trying to hold on to the origins of where you come from. You know what I'm saying? I think that's another.
Class is real. That's class.
That's another side.
Classism. And Michelle Alexander talks about that. I promise you're gonna love that. But she talks about classism, and racism and all those things. And like what you're speaking about is classism. Because what a lot of people don't know is in Africa they really don't look at us as black.
Nah.
They really feel some type of way towards us, like they, and it's based off of what they see and absorb through social media and the news and all that. And we shiftless, we lazy, we this, that, and the other. And when they come over and they get a lot of all these opportunities, they feel like, well, if we can do it, why the hell y'all can't do it?
Right.
And there's some validity to that, but you also haven't been exposed to what we was exposed to over here, so that makes it harder. Not using that as an excuse, but we have to understand the playing field when we look at it. But to your point, it ain't always black and white. It's class also that we play that plays a big role in it. The people who wind up making it, a lot of times don't turn around and try to help the people who still back there who trying to make it.
Another problem.
We turn our backs on each other.
Had that conversation yesterday too, or maybe the day before yesterday. Maybe all this good. These good thoughts are coming because I ate all this good food at that Briar Hill Fest too.
Man, I heard about that. Listen, was it nice, man?
Yeah, they hold on to their authentic cultures and traditions there. Though. But the food is, that's why I go. I go to eat. You know what I'm saying? The food was solid, but while I was there, we were talking about it because we just were sitting, just looking like, man, they hold on to their traditions so strongly. Their festival was one of the biggest ones in the city. Happens right there in the original neighborhood where the immigrants were coming over and coming back to the States from Italy. And, they got the traditional Italian music playing, the traditional dances taking place, the traditional cuisine. They come back home for this is what the point is. I don't know how much of that we have here. Like how many people from our culture come back, to your point. How often do they come back to invest back into what bred and made them who they were?
I always said, people keep asking me, why you come back to Youngstown? I'm like, because if everybody leave, what we gonna have? If all the good people leave, what we gonna have, man? We ain't gonna have much. But look, and we pressed for time, and we knew it was gonna be short. We got to get our mans out of here. You got to go black manhood. You got to black fatherhood. You got to pick his baby up.
Yeah,
you can't let him late for that. But I do want to say before I say anything, you got anything you want to put out there? Anything you want to say before we close up?
No, man, it's all a conversation today for real.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this
so.
conversation. We should do this more.
I believe so.
Hopefully
man.
the viewers enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
You want to get to know who we are. This was probably a good, transparent conversation to know exactly who we are and what we stand for in a sense, though. So
absolutely,
yeah, I respect it.
So, and before we go, I want to say first, let me plug the homegirl Dion's gala that's coming up, her fundraiser, her masquerade that's coming up. Tickets gonna be being sold soon, man. Y'all support her, and she got some big things she doing. So I want to give her a shout out for that, and I'm gonna be promoting that.
Yeah, throw something out there for Hannah Ferguson too, man. First black female brewer down there. Dope winery in Cider House, if I'm saying that correctly.
They said it was nice too. I ain't been a chance to go down there.
Real nice spot, man. So if you get a chance to go down there, right next to Penguin City, take the time to go see what's going on. And I know we said we were done, but this kind of fits the conversation. You have a place like hers who is, tailored towards African Americans. Yeah. You know what I mean?
See, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
It's tailored towards African Americans. She's a black brewer, and the majority of people you're going to see, and they're going to be black. Okay. Right? Then you got Penguin City, which is, not tailored to, but geared towards Caucasians. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I like that space because it's a bridge. So now you're going to create the interaction between these two groups of people on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's important for us to really start seeing some things change. Though. I always felt like I was pretty well balanced. You know what I mean? I grew up in private schools my whole entire life. I went to Ursuline, and that exposure to the other side of things allowed me to have a new perspective and allowed me to, grow into who I am now. Yeah. So a bridge like that downtown Youngstown between Penguin City and Dope, which stands on dwelling on positive energy. Okay. Dope that we normally
right
hear around here. So
dwelling on positive
energy, man. I thought it was just a perfect bridge to have those two businesses sitting right there. But
I like.
So shout out to Hannah Ferguson.
Shout out to Hannah for sure. And the last two things I want to plug real quick is I got this mentoring program. Right on. That I'm gonna be getting some people from.
I got 10 names coming for me. I know you're about to come at me. I got 10 names.
I got this mentoring program. It's called The Village. We need some more mentors, some people who got some time, man, to be able to kind of pour into some of the kids, man. And the kids is, speaking of dope, the kids is dope in a positive way. For real. Yeah. All they want is somebody to pour into them, man. And it don't take a whole lot. It don't take a whole lot of your time. You know what I'm saying? A couple hours out of, if you're able to spare a couple hours out your week, it'll make a big difference. Right. You know what I'm saying? So anybody and we need females too. It ain't just young men. We need females. So anybody who interested in being a part of that, man, get with me, hit me up. And also, last but definitely not least, I gotta, send a huge shout out to my big homie Fred Ward, man. I met this brother when I came home. I was probably maybe home 8 months, 9 months, and I met this brother, and he asked me. When I was introduced to him, he said, "What you want to do?" He said, "You want a job?" I said, "Nah, I ain't here for no job, man." He said, "Well, what you want to do?" I said, "Man, I want to do what you do, man." And he's a real big community activist in Cleveland, man. And I've been with the brother, and the brother told me from day one, he said, "I got you, and I'm gonna make sure you're all right." Today, I signed my paperwork, man, to officially be paid as a BFO organizer as a result of what he did for me, man. So definitely got to give a shout out to him. As far as BFO go, man, I'm telling y'all it's something y'all want to be a part of. If you've been impacted by the criminal justice system, you definitely want to at least come down and listen to what we got to say. We got some big things going on. We about to try to get some laws and some policies changed. We about to shake up the voting a little bit down here. So it's definitely something you want to be a part of. We meet every Thursday at 5 o'clock. Right. Inbox me for details or just look at my post, and we out and we rolling, man.
Right. Oh, one more announcement. We're going to get off it. I promise. I'm done after this. But we got the expungement clinic happening at the Academy for Urban Scholars on the 27th. So 5 days from now. That's Saturday. But they're only taking the first 50 people. So AUS is partnered with Judge Renee DeSalvo and the Steering Clear Clinic. So they're going to work to get people's license reinstated and also, you know, working for expungement, you know, getting some expunging things taken care of for anyone that's dealing with that. So from 9 to 12 on Saturday, August 27th, first 50 participants through the door, you know, can take advantage of some of those services.
Take advantage of it, because when we have them down in URC, they be lined up.
I heard.
They be lined up. And we're going to have another one coming up. I don't know the exact date, but they be lined up. So 50, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So y'all better take advantage of that,
9
man.
to 12, but I say get here at about 7:30.
Right, that part.
7 o'clock.
Hey, look, man, we appreciate y'all
Peace.
tapping in with us real quick. We know it's short, but hopefully it's short, powerful, and to the point.
Right.
Check us out in 2 weeks. We're going to have a guest, special guest. I'm trying to solidify it right now. Somebody everybody know. At least y'all might have watched these movies a couple times or whatever.
I think I got him. I
You
got
know,
an idea who
and,
it might be.
With that being said, y'all have a beautiful week. Be positive. Try to make a difference in somebody's life, man. Nothing but love, peace, and respect.
Respect.